Everything is set up. I've set it to the highest quality to 32 samples of buffer size.
My secrets, I lock up and keep them. My secrets, too dangerous to give away.
Hey guys, welcome to the studio, welcome to the vlog. We got new speakers. The white ones, the small ones. They're amazing, but I just tested them really briefly. And there are so many things you can set up because you have like on the side and on the back and on the other side woofers. There's also this very nice controller. So in tomorrow's video, we'll talk about the speakers because I still really have to figure them out, set them up, test, listen to them. So I think today we'll talk one more time, one very last time about my MacBook Pro. So there it is, down here in the B studio, my brand new 2 days old MacBook 16-inch Pro. It's the fully spec'd version to the absolute max RAM graphic card and like the processor, except for the hard drive. The hard drive is just 2 terabytes. It can go up to 8, but then this would be like twice as expensive. And I'm sure most of you already have seen reviews about it, telling you that it's a little thicker, a little bigger, the screen is bigger. It's a little heavier, but all of this doesn't really matter that much. You'll only notice in direct comparison to the previous generation. The speakers, the built-in ones, very impressed. They were always good, but they're now even better, especially the low end. I don't know how Apple does it to get these kind of speakers in there. Amazed. I mean, still no studio grade kind of speaker, not at all, but for the size, amazing. Processors are actually the same as last year. The keyboard is done entirely new. You got this inverted T-shape, escape button. That's really nice. Touch bar is still there. I don't need it. I really don't need it. It's just like, it's just a waste. Touch ID is now a separate button, still there. I would have loved to see Face ID. It makes so much sense in a laptop. Ports are the same. Trackpad is the same. Nothing changed there. Internally, thermals are fixed. I can already confirm, I worked with it a couple of days. It's fixed because my old machine was always thermal throttling. So whenever I was editing one of these videos or working like towards the end of a music project with like 60, 70 tracks plus, you could feel the machine getting extremely warm and then just slowing down to 1/5, 1/8 of the power, which is really annoying in a professional environment, working with it on a daily basis. And all of the updates are nice and fine, but for me, not as important. For me is the performance, the most important by far. So I've seen already a couple of videos about video editing. There are a bunch out there on YouTube, and they all say it's like, depending on what you do, like maybe 5 to 20% faster, which is really nice, but expected for a new model. It doesn't thermal throttle anymore, which is like the best ever. The fans go still up and they're even a tiny bit louder, but lower in frequency. But I don't mind. I just want a machine that works fast enough so that I'm the limiting factor and not the computer sitting in front of me. So since there are a lot of tests out about video, let's do one with music. I'm running here Logic Pro X. I will open a project where my previous MacBook just couldn't play it anymore, at least not in highest quality. And then, yeah, I'll figure out like a test environment to show you what it's actually able to do. Everything is set up. I've set it to the highest quality to 32 samples of buffer size. So we have an output delay of 3.8 milliseconds and a round trip delay by 7.9 milliseconds. I've never set Logic to this kind of setting because it's really processor heavy. And yeah, maybe for recording if you have like an empty project, but I then usually use the low latency modus. And now let's actually try and run this 36 tracks project. I'd say 1/3 audio, 2/3 MIDI. Let's maybe set Diva to divine quality. While playback. Also, I've never done that before. Another instance of Diva, divine setting. What else do we have? One more Diva. I think we got some Serum. Serum is also quite processor heavy. So we got 3 divas, 3 instances of Serum, all to the highest quality, plus a bunch more of Logic plugins. And this project actually, oh, can you hear this? It's ramping up, which might be annoying to some, but again, I prefer a machine that is just running smoothly. The noise, and it's going down again. So let's actually hit play and watch the CPU. And just to let you know, on top of all of this, I'm recording the screen, which is also like drawing a little. So let's try it out. So in this more quiet part where less instruments are playing at the same time, we get like max 50% on the CPU. And in the more full part, we actually hit 100% on some of the processors inside, but it's still running smoothly. Like my mouse, I can still move it, I can move the plugins around, it's still playing back perfectly. And again, we set it to the lowest possible sample size, which I actually never ever use. Let's try maybe to get it to freeze a little. So now we got 20 Serum, 20 Diva, all on the highest setting, playing at the same time, plus the rest of the song. It will sound a little muddy because I just copied the MIDI and the synth sound, but let's see what the CPU is doing. It's definitely working hard, but the fans are fairly low, way lower than my old machine, and it's running smoothly. So let's double it, 20 each. Still running smoothly, almost all CPUs at 100%. Let's maybe open up really quick activity monitor. That's like the Apple internal activity, I mean the name says it all. So CPU, we're still idle at 90%. Let's play it again and see how it behaves. CPU in activity monitor says like it's still idle 50%. Memory, let's check the memory. Logic isn't that memory heavy, it's just 8 GB in use, so there's still plenty of room to open up other apps at the same time. Now let's increase it again, 10 more. Now we got the system overload. At 40 tracks of Diva and 40 tracks of Serum, both set to the highest quality, lowest buffer size, and the MacBook still fairly quiet. That's not bad. I'm actually impressed. I mean, let's be honest, we have now in here 99 tracks or even more. Let me check. Yeah, 123 tracks, and it's playing it almost. That's really good. I don't see anyone maxing out this machine in the next 10 years, as long as the plugin companies stay focused on making their plugins processor efficient. But that's all you will ever need, 123 tracks with that many instances. Like, that's not how you realistically make a song, but it's nice to have this headroom, being able to push it really hard. So if you get the new MacBook 16-inch, even in the base model, I wouldn't at all worry about music production. It's fast enough to handle whatever you throw at it. If you're someone that does film scores and needs 600 tracks with all contact libraries and a lot more plugins to make something like really epic and big, then maybe yes, get a desktop machine. But for the normal music producer doing pop music, EDM, urban music, whatever kind of music that gets released on Spotify, you'll be fine with this machine without a problem for the entire lifespan of it. So 4 or 5 years, without a doubt, no problem. So I'm really extremely happy. Also, while video editing, the fans go up even higher, but it doesn't get stuck. So I'm happy. I finally a machine after like 2 years that I can work with in a professional way. This MacBook is actually intended to. The previous 2 generations were just shit. They were overheating, way too small to handle the CPU. So you were spending money on a CPU, on RAM and everything that you couldn't actually use to its full potential just because it was too thin, too small, and not enough cooling was happening. So this 16-inch MacBook Pro is 100% a recommendation by me for anyone that wants to upgrade and wants something fast. Don't get the ones like the 2 or 3 years before. They're just trash, really. You're just wasting your money. And I think this MacBook is Apple saying sorry. They gave us everything we ever asked for in a Pro machine. They finally stopped their nonsense trying to make every MacBook slimmer than the previous one. Good fans in there, CPU is up there, RAM is like up there. It's even way less expensive than the previous generation. Still very expensive, but not as crazy expensive. The only thing I'm still a little angry about is that I now have this 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro, and like I feel screwed by Apple. With this machine, they were admitting that the previous one had these flaws, keyboard thermals, and now I'm stuck with it. So I already like sent it over to Apple. They told me they will repair it, but there's no way to repair something that is like by design not working. So I will just let them repair it like multiple times until they're sick of me and give me my money back, or a new machine that I then can sell on eBay. I'll keep you updated on this. I think Apple really owes everyone that has one of the previous generations an apology and actually a replacement unit. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Don't forget, there's still my sample pack available. I just released it yesterday, so if you're interested in electronic dance music and you need some samples, kicks, claps, drums, all of my songs bounced out, turned into samples that you can use as a starting point for your music production. It's linked down below, and we're also starting The Secrets, which is my last release song that went up to the Beatport top charts and has like 100K on Spotify within the first month. You can remix that song, all of the files, everything else down below in the description, and wish me luck to try to get my old one replaced or refunded. Fingers crossed.
In my mind they'll stay.